Gobekli Tepe, Pillar 43, Maori Legend of the Three Baskets. Hi, welcome to the channel. To those who've seen the channel before, it has been a while between archaeological ancient history videos, but I only really make them when I find something really worthwhile that adds in a significant way to all the material out there, and is what I personally believe to have merit. A quick introduction to our topic to those unfamiliar. Located in modern Turkey, Gobekli Tepe is one of the most important archaeological sites in the world. The discovery of this stunning 10,000-year-old site in the 1990s sent shockwaves through the archaeological world and beyond, with some researchers even claiming it was the site of the biblical Garden of Eden. The site features circles of massive T-shaped stone pillars that were erected, the world's oldest known megaliths. More than 200 pillars in about 20 circles are known, as of May 2020, through geophysical surveys. Each pillar has a height of up to 6 metres, 20 feet, and weighs up to 10 tonnes. They are fitted into sockets that were hewn out of the local bedrock. Probably the most famous and discussed of these pillars is Pillar 43, also known as the Vulture Stone. What could this stone depict? In trying to decipher its meaning, many theories have emerged from the so-called handbags that seem to be carried in images of the enigmatic fish-garbed people, the speculated founders of ancient civilisation, found in images all over the ancient world. The Pillar 43 images have also been said to be representing a comet impact that caused the Great Flood some 12,000 years ago, to astrological maps and my own speculations that perhaps they depict ceremonial feasting, and the handbags are possibly dwellings or ovens, depictions thereof. Others have suggested they could be temples, another worthy theory. What are these handbags? Some have said they are alien technology carried by the Anunnaki, or breathing devices, perhaps advanced medicine. I'm very grateful to a viewer, Damo, who left a comment recently. He was kind and generous enough to share some insights into their cultural heritage regarding the Maori legend of the three baskets of knowledge, which has so many parallels to the depictions on Pillar 43 as to almost prove this, in fact, is the meaning behind it. Here is a reading of the legend from New Zealand's News and Information Archive, the Knowledge Basket, linked below. Knowledge Basket's legend. When Tane decided to climb up to the heavens to seek the baskets of knowledge for mankind, his brother Wiro was angry. Wiro thought he had more right to the baskets than Tane, because he was the older brother. The two brothers struggled for power, but it was Tane who was favoured by Io, the supreme power, so Tane was allowed to ascend the 12 heavens. His task was made more difficult by Wiro, who set plagues of insects, reptiles, and carrion-eating birds to attack Tane. But Tane, with the aid of the winds, was able to proceed until he reached the summit of all the heavens. Here, at Toyo Nagarangi, in Maori mythology, Tane, also called Tane Mahuta, Tane near Rangi, and several other names, he was welcomed by Io and received the three baskets of knowledge and the two sacred stones. The baskets, or kete, were the kete Oranui, which held all the knowledge that could help mankind, the kete Tuauri, which held the knowledge of ritual memory prayer, and the kete Tuatia, which contained knowledge of evil, or Meikutu, which was harmful to mankind. The stones, or Watakura, held the power of knowledge and added mana to the teaching of knowledge. On his return journey, Tane was again attacked by Wiro and his allies, the birds and insects. Tane would have been defeated if the winds had not once more come to his rescue. The winds blew the birds and insects back down to earth, where they remain today. When Tane finally reached earth again, he placed the baskets and stones in a special house of knowledge, Warakura, which he had built before his journey to the heavens. Wiro was back on earth too, and he demanded that he should be the one to take care of the treasures. But Tane and his supporters refused Wiro's demands, and Wiro was eventually banished to the underworld, where he still lives and continually tries to cause trouble the gods and mankind. Tane Te Wanga Arangi, Tane, bringer of knowledge from the sky, was left to maintain order on earth. So to go on, how could it be possible that a culture 16,500 kilometres away and 10,000 years ago could be linked? Is there any evidence to support this? And the answer is surprisingly yes. According to the book Maori Origins and Migrations, The Genesis of Pakana Myths and Legends by M.P.K. Sorensen 1979, of which I've drawn upon some information, supports some of this. Elston Best, 30th of June 1856, 9th of September 1931, was an ethnographer who made important contributions to the study of the Maori of New Zealand. In his major work, The Maori, published in 1924, Best said that according to Maori traditions, they had come originally from a western land named Uru, and then migrated to Irihia, which he said later was very likely Vrihia, the Sanskrit name for India. He also found many parallels between Maori and Aryan customs. For instance, he said that the Polynesians had practiced agriculture before they left their hidden homeland, quote, wherever that may have been. Now, Gobekli Tepe has been heralded as the area where human agriculture began and is said to have evolved from, which may explain this apparent anachronism. In several other papers, Best discussed the distant origins of Maori agriculture, finding in the Maori Ari word resemblance with Irihia, the Dravidian and Sanskrit names for rice. Here, Best was working within a well-established tradition of plant geography stemming from Alfonso de Cadole's origin of cultivated plants, which propounded an Asian origin for most Polynesian domestic plants. De Candole's work had been available in English translation since 1884 and provided botanical evidence to support the belief of Smith, Best, and most other authorities that Polynesians entered the Pacific from Asia. Which brings us to Smith. Stevenson Percy Smith, 11th of June 1840 to 9th of April 1922, was a New Zealand ethnologist and surveyor. He founded the Polynesian Society, who concluded, if we compare the mythology of the Polynesians with those of the Old World, there are sufficient points of similarity to hazard the conjecture that the race is a remnant of one of the most ancient races in the world, who have retained in its primitive forms much of the beliefs that gave origin to the mythology of Assyria and Egypt. On one occasion, he went so far as to suggest an exhaustive study may yet prove that the Polynesian forms of these myths are the originals and the Aryan versions only copies. Yeah, so perhaps the discovery of Gobekli Tepe and the depictions on the Pillar 43 are that exhaustive study. Smith even dated a timeline of Polynesian migration back to India, 450 BC. Now, somebody else, Richard Taylor, in his work 1855, Te Ika Maui, or New Zealand and its inhabitants, illustrating the origin, manners, customs, mythology, religion of the natives together with the geology, natural history, productions, and climate of the country, long title. Taylor devoted a chapter to origin as traced by language. He acknowledged some linguistics and cultural links between the Maori language and Sanskrit, the ancient language of India and of the Buddha, of which the original Pali Canon was written. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Pali Canon of the Buddha's teaching consists of 3 volumes and is known in Sanskrit as the Tipitaka, the 3 baskets of wisdom. Each of these baskets actually correspond to a greater or lesser degree to the Maori baskets of knowledge in each of their contents. Of course, the Buddha's teachings only date back to 3,500 years, in Gobekli Tepe 10,000 years, but couldn't the Buddhist Tipitaka or Tripitaka, the Mahayana name, be based on earlier traditions? Let's have a look at the comparisons. The Kete Aranui, which held all the knowledge that could help mankind. The Pitaka from Buddhism, the collection of suttas or discourses attributed to the Buddha and a few of his closest disciples, containing all the central teachings of Theravada Buddhism. Okay, the second basket, the Kete Tuaruri, which held the knowledge of ritual, memory, and prayer, corresponds to the Vinaya Pitaka, the collection of texts concerning the rules of conduct governing the daily affairs within the Sangha, the community of bhikkhus ordained by monks, and bhikkhunis, ordained nuns. Far more than merely a list of rules, the Vinaya Pitaka is also the stories behind the origin of each rule, providing a detailed account of the Buddha's solution to the question of how to maintain communal harmony within a large and diverse spiritual community. And the last one, the Kete Tuatuia, which contained knowledge of evil, or makutu, which was harmful to mankind. Sort of roughly, it's not quite as close in this definition, but corresponds to the Abhidhamma Pitaka, a collection of texts in which the underlying doctrinal principles presented in the Sutta Pitaka are reworked and reorganized into a systematic framework that can be applied to an investigation into the nature of mind and matter. There are other definitions to the Kete, which correspond to that one a little bit better. Okay, I made it. But I managed to get through it. Again, thank you to Damo for alerting me to the legend and spurring me into some further research. I have to give you full credit for the making of this video. I hope you don't mind me doing so. Thanks to the growing base of viewers and contributors in the comments. I hope these videos are presenting new insights, information and facts that are helping us as a human race understand our origins and may one day lead to something definitive. Okay, thanks for watching and look forward to hearing from you